Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place to find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Thursday. So I am here with our favorite broadcaster, Ms. Robin Shimizu, doing Healthy Happy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. Robin, it's so good to see you. I want to give a shout out to our producer, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, and I'm Carolina from California Cover Up. We're the Biz Chicks. We have a fabulous guest for you today, but since it is Robin's guest, I'm going to let Robin introduce her. Robin, what's up for today?
Sounds great. Good morning, everybody. And hello to those of you that are watching the replay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Francine, in the background. You're getting so good at getting us all connected in the mornings. It's pretty fabulous. Today, we have our wellness expert, Linus Woods Mullins. And I'm just going to do a quick introduction to Linus because I could go on and on and on. You guys need to just Google her and just take a look at her Facebook pages and all the things that she's out there on. It's amazing. So anyway, just as a recap, Linus is a holistic wellness and living expert for women over the age of 40. And she has an e-magazine. She's an author. She's a mentor. She does everything pretty much. She helps women with their spiritual, their emotional, their physical, and their mental health. And so it's pretty amazing what she can provide for us because every week she comes on and is able to give us a lot of really great information. Today, we're going to cover tips for protecting your mental wellness during this stay-in-place environment, which is so timely, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, Linus, take it away. Thank you so much for doing
it. Thank you. All of a sudden, I started coughing, but there's nothing wrong. No. I just went down the wrong way. I'm okay. I mean, isn't this interesting, the environment that we're living in now? Before you hear a cough or have a tickle in your throat or something, and you barely pay attention to it, or the people standing around you don't pay attention to it. But now everybody's like, oh! So, it's interesting. Going to the grocery store, the post office, even taking a walk outside carries with it now this inherent feeling of stress or maybe anxiety that really isn't healthy. And right now, there are some things that we can do to try to, protect our mental health so that we don't become so preoccupied with the idea of catching the virus. There are some very powerful statistics out there in terms of all the people we have lost as a result of this virus. And I don't mean to minimize that at all. But the good news is that it's a very small percentage in comparison to how many have gotten the virus and how many people still have not. It's a very small percentage. Any loss of life, especially with the large amounts of loss of life within a short period of time, is horrible and understandably stressful and upsetting. So we want to do maybe some extra things with our self-care to make sure that we are taking care of us, our minds and our spirit. It's interesting because in a normal situation, the statistics are very interesting in terms of, who normally suffers from some of these things. Like before all this happened, and this is based upon a study in 2017, a survey in 2017, about 3.76% of the population had anxiety disorders, about 3.4% had depression, about 1.4% had alcohol. Well, right now, in terms of what's going on, about 71% of the women and 67% of the men are feeling symptoms of anxiety and worrying more about things than they used to. And that's perfectly, understandable. But what we want to do is not let this virus, define us in terms of who we are and define us in terms of our mental health. So I've got 7 tips that I'd like to share with you that I think might help you to manage your mental health, for you to check in with yourself and just make sure that you are not floating into a situation where now you have another issue. You not only are worried about the virus, but now you have some issues going on with your overall emotional wellness. The first thing you want to think about is managing your expectations. During periods of quarantine, your productivity may change a little bit. It may get lower. So rather than raise the bar because you're thinking, okay, I'm at home, I can focus, or, I don't have to go anywhere. I can focus on this project or that project. About the fact that one of the things you want to do during this whole virus is to allow yourself to chill. We are a society that is hustle and bustle all day long. We have these to-do lists that are, 5-6 pages long. We've got apps to remind us of stuff. We're constantly engaged in our phone or talking on the phone. We're always doing something all the time. Well, now we've been asked to stay the majority of our time at home. And that is a paradigm shift. That's a big paradigm shift. And I think that you should go ahead and lean into that and allow that, rather than thinking, okay, well, then I can get busy doing this, and this. It's not that you won't do those projects, but don't take into your normal day-to-day activity mode mind. Don't take that into the viral mind right now. Just the idea of having to stay home and living in a situation where people's health is in peril and you're in danger of possibly contracting the virus as well, that takes a lot of energy processing that day to day. So be kind to yourself and manage your expectations. Go easy on yourself and settle on more of a rhythm that is conducive to, in some cases, working from home, being at home, and spending time with loved ones. You also want to proactively manage your stress threshold. You want to be aware of making sure you're getting enough sleep. This is not the time to try to, sleep less, or to try to do the same sleep patterns you had when you were leaving the house every day. You now have been gifted, so to speak, the opportunity to take naps, to sleep a little longer. If you are staying up late because of sleeplessness, then go ahead, if you can, and sleep in. There's no guilt there if you decide to sleep longer. Sleep is important right now when it comes to replenishing our minds and replenishing our spirits. And of course, you want to eat well. Now, when you're proactively managing your stress, one of the things you might want to look out for is, are you inclined to indulge more in emotional eating? Or maybe drinking alcohol. I was just talking to my coach and I was telling her, I said, well, I've been craving a glass of wine every night. It's not a big glass. In fact, I very rarely finish the glass. It was just the idea. And she says, no, it's nothing to worry about, but it's good that you're aware of that, because that means that if it does get out of hand, you'll stop. Take a look at that. If you are a wine drinker, or, as we were just talking about earlier before we came on, a Long Island iced tea drinker, just manage your consumption. You know how we talk about portion control when it comes to the foods that we eat? Well, portion control when it comes to the things that you are drinking. These indulgences may help us to manage stress a little bit. That's understandable, but it can be potentially damaging in the long run. If you want to find a way to kind of lower your stress, of course, exercise. I have found some great videos that have put me into my 20-something mode. Which is really pretty amazing since I'm 62. But I've been doing these exercises and movements that I used to do when I taught dance, and it has been wonderful. I'm so glad that I found this. What I did was I went to YouTube and I typed into the search bar, bar exercises, BARRE, because I'm a classically trained ballet dancer, and I found all kinds of things. So if your thing was aerobics or hip hop or praise dance or whatever your thing is, put in the search bar of YouTube, pull it up, and go ahead and dance or whatever, or exercise and move. It is so important, not just because you want to keep from gaining extra pounds, which more than likely we are going to do unless we have a very rigorous exercise program. But also it will help you to feel better. You want to make sure that you know your red flags, that you know when you are going through a negative emotional spiral, when you know that something's not feeling right, like things like I'm having problems concentrating, my stomach is upset, I'm worrying all the time. All of these things feed in to amplify the fact that you're having some kind of negative emotional spiral. So when you have those spirals, do what it is that you would normally do when you feel that way. Do not ignore them. Sometimes we feel our emotions in our bodies and stuff. It'll give us a hint of what's going on. So if that means you need to go on a walk and you know that will revive you, go on a walk. It's okay. Go ahead and do your social distancing, put on your mask if you need to, or whatever it is you need to protect yourself, but get that fresh air. If you know it's time for you to reach out to a friend and give them a call, go ahead and reach out to the friend and give them a call. Don't put that off. Your body is kind of telling you, based upon, what maybe begin to spiral emotionally, that you need to do something about it. Don't ignore those red flags. Another thing you want to think about is a routine. A routine is your friend, and it helps to manage your anxiety. In fact, I just did a podcast about some of this that I'm talking about on my Vibe Living podcast, which is going to be released next Wednesday, and I'll share it with all of you. But I talk about this a little bit. Routine helps to manage your anxiety, and it will help you to adapt more quickly to your new reality. Now, I have been working from home for years. In fact, I was thinking about that. My anniversary for being in business 11 years is today, as a matter of fact. But prior to my opening my business, I worked at home for about 5 years. Not every day, but I had the ability to work from home if I needed to. So this is not strange for me. But one of the things that I did in working from home, I learned that I was much more productive if I went through my routine of getting up in the morning and starting my day in a positive way. And I've talked about this before, and, in terms of how I start my day with something inspirational, eating, moving, but also getting dressed. Okay. If you're going to be working from home and you want to be productive, I suggest that you not work in your pajamas. Give yourself different clothes for different moods of the day. You go to sleep, you put on your pajamas. You wake up, and if you're working from home, you put on your, not necessarily work clothes, but clothes that might look more professional. It will make you feel more professional. Do your hair. Even if you want to, put on a little bit of makeup, because sometimes you might be doing some Zooms with coworkers. I was talking with one of my clients. She had me crack it up because she works from home all the time, but the people that she works with don't work from home, and they are now just starting it. So the Zoom came on, and people looked a hot mess. And she had to tell them, you know what, when I'm looking at you, you're not instilling confidence in me that stuff is getting done, because you look like you just rolled out of bed. And in many cases they did. So go ahead and get dressed, put on makeup, and then when it's time to work out or do whatever, take those clothes off and then go into your workout mode. You finish with your workout mode, take those clothes off and put on your lounging, whatever is your routine is. Go ahead and dress for your routine for the day. I know that might seem crazy, but it puts you in that mode. It puts you in that headspace, and it keeps you focused and keeps to maintain your clarity of thought and chases away that anxiety. Make sure.
Yes. It breaks up the day, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
We wouldn't do that ordinarily. We wouldn't go to the office in our gym clothes.
No. Not ordinarily. I mean, there's some days when, I may not feel like getting dressed. Like on Saturdays, if I'm working from home, I don't get all that dressed, because normally my work day is Monday through Friday. But it's just funny. My husband used to laugh at me, but now he's used to it. Now I get up, 4:30 in the morning, and by 5 o'clock, I'm putting on makeup and everything. He no longer asks me where I'm going. He knows where I'm going. I'm going right from there here. But I am on the air a lot. I talk to clients on Zoom a lot, all that. So that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is I just feel better. I feel more productive. I wanted to also say that you want to make sure you're being compassionate with others as well for your mental health. Be patient with others. They're going through stuff too. They're adjusting. They're stressed out. They have anxiety thoughts. They're worried too. Everybody's behavior is going to be a little bit different. So go ahead and be compassionate. Don't feed into your anger and your frustration when you are out in public. I mean, this the other day I was standing in line, and my foot was just a little bit behind or in front of the red strip. And the lady in front of me looked up and she said, social distancing. No, no offense, but social distancing. And at first I was like, oh, come on, but then I looked at her and I said, she had the gloves on, the mask on, she had glasses on, she had her head covered. So I said, oh, bless her heart, she is really freaking out. No problem. So I backed up a little bit rather than take it personally, because I could tell. And the way she was putting her groceries on, she was stockpiling. I could tell that she was stressed out just even being in that store. So just be more compassionate with others. And the other thing is, although we are asking to isolate ourselves, self-isolate in our homes, that doesn't mean that you isolate from others. Maintain your connections with your friends and your co-workers and others that you normally talk to, or maybe some that you haven't talked to for a long time.
Okay.
All kinds of platforms within which to do that. And that way you're ensuring a more emotional wellness and mental health for yourself, instead of cutting yourself off and taking the isolation literally and not speaking with anyone.
Yes. I think this is really important because, we may think, like you said, be compassionate and patient with others. We may think someone is freaking out, but we don't know who they have at home. We don't know what they're responsible for, and they may have more information, or they may be exposed more regularly. So, guys, just be considerate.
Right. Yeah. And if you don't do it for them, do it for yourself. I mean, do you know what happens with your body when you go into that stress response and anger response? You really compromise your immune system even more when you do that, because it just eats up a lot of your vitamins and minerals. It starts secreting cortisol and all this other stuff that's not good for your system. And it causes your immune system not to be strong if you continue to act that way. So do it for yourself. Stay calm and
Now,
personally.
we have a comment here. I'm going to put it up. Pat says, some of us have actually lost someone to coronavirus. So I can definitely understand someone who appears to be overreacting, appears to be, a good friend of mine died on Monday. Yeah. So I think I love the fact that you're telling us to be considerate, patient, and compassionate.
Yes. Yes.
In this time.
I noticed the other day on my walk, it was kind of funny in a way, because it was almost like driving a car, because people were stopping at corners and giving people the social distance across and all that kind of stuff. But first of all, I don't see that. I never see anybody walking in my area, but now I see more people, and people are waving and saying hello. It's kind of like, and these are people I've never seen before, and they're my neighbors, but it's kind of like people want to still maintain their humanity. They want to acknowledge the fact that you're human, I'm human, and we're in this together. And approaching your mental health in that way when you're out and about, when you have to leave the house and do something, is a good way to do it. The people who you see are going through some of the very same things that you're going through, and feeling some of the very same things, sometimes worse, if they have lost a loved one or have a loved one that's sick. So, acknowledging their presence when they acknowledge yours, or acknowledging it first. I mean, I was standing in line and everybody was talking, it was social distance talking, but they were talking. How are you doing? How are you feeling? That kind of thing. And I could tell it was just the need to check in with another human outside of the person that you live with at home. And I think these things, we shouldn't be so fearful of reaching out to each other and communicating to each other, that we stop doing that. We stop doing that, we lose our humanity. We stop doing that, we become emotionally and mentally unwell.
And disconnected.
Yes. Definitely. And I was thinking on the next, I don't know when I'm here again, but I don't know, is it next week or whenever, but I think we are going to, I think I should do a gentle warm-up workout for you guys, if I can set it up.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'm going to do that on one of them, because there is a workout that I do. There's several that I do. But I thought I would do some stuff having to do with the upper body and the core, because that is so important that we keep that engaged and strengthened, because we are sitting a lot. And the first thing we go when we're sitting is our core, and that's why your back starts hurting, because the stronger your core is, the stronger your back muscles will be. So I've got some upper waist movement stuff that I'm going to show you guys next time I come. So we
That
can
would be good.
strengthen our core and get some sexy abs too.
Oh. So, Lynette, you're back with us on the 23rd. So, in 2 weeks, you're back with us. So, that'd be awesome. That's perfect timing, actually.
Okay, so you said the 23rd, and I looked at it, I said, no, today's 8/21. No, that's the time.
Okay. Yes, it's 8/20.
So, this was so perfect timing, Lynette, for you to recap this for us. Because the way I've kind of looked at this whole social distancing, also the whole stay at home and all of that, is it's really an opportunity for us to just sit back and think about what matters to us, and it takes kind of the busy part of my day away from me, because I have more time at home, and I'm able to manage my time a little bit better, and I'm also treating myself during the day with one big treat, which is I turn on the TV and I binge watch an hour, maybe two, of my favorite program. I treat myself during the day. And so I've been finding little things to make me happy during the day.
I like that idea of treating yourself. For women in particular, for those of you who are women out there, we are, in most cases, on the role of our family, the nurturer in many ways. We're nurturing our family spirits, their bodies. We're giving them advice. We're keeping them encouraged and all those things. And what happens a lot of the times is that we forget to pour into ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that you have stopped taking showers and getting dressed. That's not what I'm talking about. Well, some people do, but I'm talking about pouring into you, reading the stuff that encourages you, listening to podcasts, looking at things like this, other kinds of things that can pour into your spirit so that you still have something to give out. Because we can run on empty pretty quickly in a situation like this. I have 4 daughters and I haven't been able to see them, but we talk on FaceTime every single day. And because I am an empath, I'm definitely an empath, I feel people's stuff, even people I don't know, I feel it. So I had to learn how to clear spaces within myself so that I would have room to be able to deal with my daughters and other people. And there's all kinds of different ways you can do it. You can do it through energy healing. You can do it through prayer. There are things you can do where you need to kind of like clear spaces so that you are available for people. Otherwise, you are taking on their stuff, your stuff. There's not much room for your stuff. So just be aware of that. Journaling is another way to clear space. That's really important. Meditation, getting quiet. And another thing too, and I don't mean to sound mamby-pamby at all. I mean, if you're feeling anxiety and fear, pain, Patricia, God bless her, she lost her good friend. You need to go ahead and cry. Let it out. These are difficult times. Something happened to me yesterday. I don't watch the TV during the day. My husband watches it all day. I don't. I'm an empath. He's, I don't know, whatever Scorpio is. Doesn't seem to bother him. So he watches it all day. Okay. So I just went to the bathroom for a second to get something, and I will check the television to see if there's anything like, is the world coming to an end or whatever? What's going on the script? And they were showing the numbers.
Yeah.
And it just hit me. And I've seen those numbers before. It just hit me. And I just fell to my knees and just started boo-hooing. And my husband goes, what's wrong? What happened? He's like, oh, But I hadn't been looking at that. And I allowed myself to grieve and to cry for people who I don't even know. So I don't mean to minimize the fact that the numbers of people, I mean, even one person is too much for something.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's no longer 7 degrees of separation. I had an experience the other day, and maybe that's the other reason why it really impacted me. 2 days before that, there's a lady that I was collaborating with. I hadn't heard from her. I had emailed her and called her and messaged her. No response. So I saw that she was on WhatsApp. So I thought, well, I'll leave her a message. And she actually messaged me back. And she was red, state. She's about 32 or 33 years old, and she has the virus. And when she was talking to me, she could barely talk or breathe. That freaked me out because that was my first time seeing someone with the virus and someone I know. And that just really freaked me out. And then 2 days later, I'm on my knees boo-hooing because I'm thinking, of course, I was thinking of her. She's going to be okay. She's been dealing with it for 14 days. She was never hospitalized. So she's beginning to get on the other side of it. So, I mean, this is real. And part of our emotional wellness, part of being emotionally well is acknowledging how you feel. And after you've acknowledged it, to begin to do the things that you need to do to feel better, to take care of yourself.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I had to stop. Well, I wasn't looking at it that often, but I'm like you. I check once a day to see if there's something new I need to know. But then they started showing some stuff, and I was just like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah.
Because I do know people who've been affected, who've lost people in their 30s. Because so the people that I know were in their 30s and their 40s, which is interesting. But at any rate, I am so glad to know that there are things that we can do to make sure that we don't spiral into something non-productive.
Right. And stay present. Sometimes you just have to do one moment at a time. You can't change the past. You can't predict the future. So that's what you have left is the presence, the present. That's what you have left. And that's where you need to stay and focus on that, even if it does mean 1 minute at a time sometimes. Sometimes it does mean that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you guys see the interview with Jewel yesterday?
Did we see? I started watching. I was telling Linus, I started watching her and Jewel Diamond Taylor. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes. I put it in the Biz Chicks group, and I want to encourage everyone to listen to it because she shares some real wisdom nuggets, and she shares some real truth. She's very real about how people are feeling. And as I've said many times before on this show, and I don't, no shame in my game, I had an anxiety disorder for years. I was one of those 3.1%ers or whatever. And I know what it feels like to have that feeling and not have it to go away. So now to have an anxiety disorder normally, and then to be going through this kind of thing must be excruciating. But the good news is for me is that I found the tools, learned to use them, and I have no anxiety at all. I mean, occasionally, a thought will come through like, okay, how am I going to pay that bill at the end of the month? I say, well, you know what? The end of the month's not here yet. Okay. So therefore, I'm going to stay focused for today. And I'm just believing that, provision is going to happen. And a lot of times things do show up on time. And remember too, that part of your tools is to use your resources. A lot of the bill collectors and landlords and banks and all this stuff, they're working with you. I mean, because some of them, the people that you're talking to on the phone that happen to still be working, they have someone at home that's furloughed or whatever. Everybody is feeling it. So don't be afraid to pick up that phone, which is something that happens sometimes when you have anxiety. You're afraid of what the outcome is going to be. And what I learned when I was working on my anxiety was to remember how good it felt when I did something that I was afraid to do, and then I did it and nothing happened, or I did it and something good happened. So if you're feeling anxious about, doing those negotiations and talking to people, think about another time when you were afraid to do something and you did it and it was a positive outcome, and put yourself in that feeling space. And then just go ahead and do it with fear anyway. Because you know what fear is, right? We all know what fear is. Expectations appearing real. That's what fear is.
Say it again, Linda, because it kind of blocked out for me.
Fear is false expectations appearing real.
Okay, false expectations appearing real. Okay.
Right. We're expecting that something bad is going to happen. And a lot of times it's not. But it seems real to us because that's what's in our monkey mind. That's the script that's running in our background. And many times that script, that negative self-talk and all that stuff is not grounded in reality. It's not grounded in what's real. There are still good things that are happening. And I would advise everyone when it comes to your emotional health, be looking for the things to be grateful for. If you're not doing gratitude, start doing gratitude. Start training your mind to be grateful for those things that you have going on in your life. I mean, some people say it's going down to the basics, grateful for, shelter. That's not a basic. That's a blessing.
Okay.
It's not a
That's
basic.
right.
Grateful for food. That's not a basic. That's a blessing. Grateful for running water. That's not a basic. It's a blessing. Grateful for your health. Now, I know that it's not a basic now. You know that's a blessing. That right there. You'll be surprised that as you start looking for things to be grateful for, then things to start showing up because you're in that mode. You're looking. And also look for what I call those God winks. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that the universe conspires to help us based upon wherever we're at any given moment in time. So sometimes you get this thing that's like, wow, what a coincidence. No, that's just a little thing to let you know that God or whoever your supreme being is, whoever pet rock or whatever, heard your prayers, heard your requests, know what your desires are. And it's just let you know, hey, I got you. And sometimes it can be something very small. Let me show you my God wink. This is my God wink from about almost 3 years ago. I was taking one of my walks and I ran across this post, and on it was a rock. And then a little bit ahead were a couple other rocks. Someone had painted rocks with positive messages on them and left them on the post. So I gathered the rocks and I put them somewhere else for someone else to find. But I kept one to remind myself that there are good people in the world and that God is always watching out and looking out for you when you're having a down or difficult time. And I'm just like, wow, somebody took the time. It's just a little flower on here and it's a little gold painting. It says love. And they painted the rock and they drew on it or whatever. And then they had the presence of mind to leave it for someone to find. And I am so grateful for that. It's just a little thing, but I am so grateful for that. It was such a huge God wink for me. So be looking for those things to be grateful for those God winks. So for those things that really aren't a coincidence. It's some other entity coming into play to kind of carry you through this time. Even now, it's out there.
That is beautiful.
That is so perfect, Linus. Everything you have said, it just so rang home to me, and in some ways validated the things I am doing. And so that was really great for me to listen to. And I was checking off on my list of things that I'm trying to do. I wanted to share one little tip that I got from a friend of mine last week about creating new neural pathways of positivity in my head. And so I'm really trying to stay away from any negativity. So no news for me, except maybe just like you do, like a little smidgen, just to Bernie Buckner, the race yesterday was a big, huge news for me, right?
Exactly.
So that kind of thing. And what I do is if I have any kind of negative thought, whether it's myself or against somebody else, I have this rubber band on my wrist. And I snap it, and then I turn it on my other wrist, and I'm just noticing how many times I do not have to move that rubber band. So I'm really trying hard to stop having any kind of negativity in my head and coming out of my mouth. And it's been really helpful. It's been actually kind of fun. It's an experiment for me.
Yeah, I love that idea because part of staying emotionally well really does have a physical component. There are some things you really totally need to do physically to feel well, and that's where things like that behavior modification. That little snap, kind of alerts you in your body. You can feel it, and it creates a memory of like, oh yeah, I thought that, and it stung literally. So I'm not going to think that anymore. To get really emotionally well, there are things that you can do with the energies and things like that. And you're right. Being around toxic people, especially at this time, is very difficult. Now, if you happen to live in a household where there is a toxic person, I know that's a little bit hard to turn that off, but what I learned when I lived with a toxic person once was to, not let them be rude. I'm not going to argue. I just think to myself, well, that's your opinion and you're entitled to that. And then release it and go on to something else. Don't try to argue with them. Don't try to prove your point. Don't try to make them understand, what you're thinking about or whatever. Just leave it alone, because that's a form of your own self-care. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to prove your point to everyone. We have to learn to just say, this is what I feel strongly about, and this person feels strongly about it that way. Am I going to change their mind? Probably not. The only thing you can do is to change your response to toxicity, to the way they're responding to you. And one of the best things to do, you can't be, a person can't be yelling at you and saying a bunch of mean stuff and everything else if you're not responding back. After a while, they start hearing themselves and they stop. You're like, oh, you're not saying anything. No, because you're just not receiving that. There's something else you can do when it comes to negative thinking that involves a physical response. When you start that negative thing in your mind, what you can do is say, stop. Literally put your hands up and say, stop. Of course, people around you might think, who's she talking to? But you're talking to yourself. You're telling yourself to stop thinking those thoughts. And it's impactful. And you do. You stop. And here's another one. Kind of crazy, but it works. Let's say you're thinking, oh God, I'm getting so fat. I'm going to be so unattractive. Okay, so this is what you do when you're thinking that. Oh, that thought. Laugh at it. Just laugh at it. That's why people think you're nuts, but laugh at it. What happens is, as you're laughing, you really do start laughing, and that thought goes away. If you're feeling like you're getting fat or whatever, well, then do something about it. But beating yourself up about it and not doing anything, that ain't gonna work. So laugh it off.
Yeah.
I think all of us are going to be a little bit more Humpty Dumpty when this is all over.
Indeed.
Yeah, we might be. Yeah, we might be. And that's okay. We know what to do in order to get that.
Yes, because we're going to really be getting out once we're released.
I know. People will be running from their homes. That's their first. Workout is running from their homes. Yes, that's true.
Running from their homes, connecting with people, and and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Okay, well, ladies, is there something else we need to cover? You were about to say something, Robin.
I think we have a comment here. Do you want to read it?
You know something? I can't see all the comments. I'm looking on my phone because all of the comments are not coming up in the comment section here on StreamYard. And I think it's got something to do with what's going on with Facebook. But let me see. I think Brenna says, here's Brenna. She says, don't even care. At least we have strength. Yes, we have strength to go through all of this.
Okay. Nora is watching with us too, and Pat is watching with us. Thank you so much, guys. Luana's watching. Yay! Hi, Luana.
Hey, Luana.
Alfredo says, live open virtual office, and then he's got anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is, Alfredo. Are you saying that you tell us what you meant by that, because I wasn't sure. I know he helps people fix their computers and to do some technical things. So are you saying you're open? Is your virtual office open? And if so, we commend you for that.
It looks like it's regarding the virus support operations.
Yeah, I can put it back up.
There are resources for us to access with regard to the virus. Thank you so much, Alfredo. Yeah.
Okay, and then here you go. Someone said, "Fat is good anyway." Okay.
Well, next week
we
have our special guest will be Jill Weston. So she's gonna. I don't know what she's gonna do, but she is our yoga nidra lady, our guru on yoga nidra and meditation. So that'll be fun. I'm sure she'll have something for us to help us be healthy.
Help us calm our chaos.
calm my chaos, right? And Linus is back with us the next week after that, so that's exciting. Um, I don't know. This is just such a good time for us to just get together and share our experiences and tips and things like that on how we're managing in this shelter in experience that we're all in.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Linus, the thing that I liked most about this morning was when you talked about being compassionate,
Mm.
because I think we forget, we're not walking in that other person's shoes. And, they may be over the top as far as we're concerned or whatever the case may be. But the compassion part is so perfect, a reminder that we don't know where they're coming from. We don't know what they're dealing with. And, it's so true because so many people are so quick to say, oh my God, they don't have their mask on. Or, oh my God, and we can't do that to each other. So I really,
Yeah.
really like that. I liked everything, but that was the one that I thought, oh yeah, that's such
Compassion. Yeah, and we are a very judgmental society. It's just our way of life, and we've got to let go of some of that because, as you can see, this virus doesn't seem to be judging. It impacts everybody, all ages, all races, all socioeconomic backgrounds. It is definitely a diversity virus. It doesn't matter, and we just need to stop being so judgmental about what we're seeing out there or what people are doing to try to cope. Everyone's trying to cope. And I really do believe that everyone is doing the best that they can. And we should give them credit for that. For those, I went to the grocery store and I saw people that didn't have the mask on and the gloves on. And I thought to myself, wow, if not for themselves, do it for their loved ones,
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? They are within their realm of reality doing the best that they can. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't have any mask at home or,
Exactly. Yeah.
they didn't have any gloves at home. Maybe they're here to buy that. Who knows? So just let go of judgment, and stay in your lane and extend compassion when you can.
Yep. Excellent. Thank you
Wow.
so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you again, everybody. Thank you so much. Robin, you always have such great guests. And Linus, you always bring such good information to help us stay grounded. I thank you for that. And Luana, here we go. We got some comments over here. We're going to close with these. Let's see. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
start with
Talk
this.
about the cover up face mask, Terry, that you're doing this afternoon.
Oh, okay. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Patricia says, looking forward to getting my. Oh,
Here we go.
There you go.
oh, okay. Yes. This afternoon at 3 over on my California Cover Up Facebook page, I'm going to have a sale on these masks that I've designed, and they go around the back like that. So we'll be talking about those this afternoon at 3. So if you want to come in and get a personal mask that, is a little bit different because, sometimes we want to look cute too, even in a crisis. Okay. It lifts our spirit. So,
And that's reminded me of something.
mhm.
I'm going to be sponsoring a Hope and Wellness Summit on May 6th.
Okay.
Okay. Hope and Wellness Summit. And HOPE really is an acronym. It stands for Honoring Our Purpose Every Day. And we're going to have speakers that are experts in different fields of wellness and hope that are going to be encouraging women. And I'll be sharing more details as they come out.
Please do.
Yes. In fact, but one thing, though, we are looking for speakers. We have some already, but I'm looking for 8 more speakers. So if you're interested in speaking in the Hope and Wellness Summit, please get in touch with me. I just wanted to do something for women in particular during this time to help them stay well and to have hope. And also wanted to do something for perhaps some speakers out there who are used to speaking in front of audiences, and that's how they're earning their living. And now all of a sudden that's gone. So now they need to get exposed to a different kind of audience. And, you have an opportunity as a speaker, if you're within those genres, to speak to, my reach is in the millions, but to speak to about 150,000 women about, your topic, when it comes to wellness. And I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to share more information as we put this all together. But it's the Hope and Wellness Summit that's coming up.
Beautiful. And it's May 6th.
May 6th. Not to mention all the Wellness Woman master classes and Emergency Counter master classes.
You know what? We do have new people in the chat. So if you guys would put Linus's contact information in there, I know people who've seen it before, but you have to remember that every time we do this, there's somebody new who's not familiar with that. And I want to make sure that we get it in the chat, because over here, some of the things are not transferring from Facebook into our chat.
Okay. There's my website, wellnesswoman40.com, and that will lead to everything else. And also my group, my Facebook group is Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond Facebook group. Join the group. We've got over 3,000 women in there now. And you guys probably remember when I first started the group. It's amazing. It's really taking off. And like yesterday, we had Jewel Diamond Taylor come into the group and speak with us.
That was amazing.
Yeah. See, this is wonderful. Because one of my good friends said, she was like, Jewel Diamond Taylor, I didn't know she was still speaking. I said, oh, yes. You know, she doesn't.
I've got her books from way back.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Making the shift, all of that.
Yep.
So,
making the shift. Too blessed to be stressed and all of that.
Mm-hmm, all of that. Yeah. Yes, because she's been to Sacramento a couple of times.
Yes, she has.
And we were instrumental in bringing her here. I don't want to go back over the history, but anyway, it's great to see her, and I was excited.
Oh, good.
So, ladies, tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow. I put the wellnesswomanover40.com there in the chat, guys, so that you can connect with Linus and join her group. If you haven't already connected with Biz Chicks, make sure to go over and join the group so you can get this information that she's posting. Also in our group, so we can cross-pollinate here. And in addition to that, I am going to do the personal mask sale today at 3 on California Cover-Ups, on my California Cover-Ups Facebook page, because Gabby was asking about that. And in addition to that, tomorrow is Friday. And, you know, we talk tech and English on Friday. I want to let you go because I know you have things to do, and I know that Linus is definitely on a schedule. So we may be pressing her.
I'm getting ready right now for my next podcast. You're right.
Exactly. We may be pressing her. So we're going to close and remind you, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock, for Talking Tech and English for your business. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Linus. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Francine.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.